What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Prince King. Welcome back to the Convo with the Prince. I tell you what, man, we have a great show for you today. Before we get into it, make sure you go and like and subscribe to the channel. Down below, hit that bell so you get notifications when we load up video, and you get notified anytime we have anything going on. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Today we have a great topic. I have another wonderful guest. We've been talking a lot, through social media, and I've been watching this young lady do a lot of amazing things. We'll talk a little bit about that today. But if you're an artist or you're in the entertainment business, this is a show for you to keep locked into. Stephanie is joining us today. How you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
You know I am doing well. I'm better now. I was hiding here earlier.
Yeah, it feels good in here now.
It feels so much better.
The vibe is good.
Yeah.
It's a great energy in here. It's a beautiful setup. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate
for
that.
putting out such a dope product. I'm really happy to be here.
No, I appreciate that. That's big coming from you because this is what you do.
It is.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a little bit before we get to everything. So for those who haven't been up on what you do and who you are, tell us a little bit about what your brand and business is.
Sure. Well, most people call me Steph, and then Wood comes right after that. Never just Steph. It's always Steph Wood.
Yeah.
And I've been building and managing businesses for about 17 or 18 years now.
Okay.
Those brands include artists,
Yeah.
musicians, companies, nonprofits, $1 million companies, $1 million charities. It's been good.
Yeah.
It's been a very exciting run.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very worthy,
Yeah.
because I get to be somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and I find that very, very worthy.
Yeah.
I find that it's valuable,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my happy place.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I'm a lifestyle coach for athletes who are ages 10 to 17, who are trying to, do the best they can in all things.
Yeah.
I call them hitters.
Hitters. I like that term.
They're people who are getting up every day trying to put their best foot forward.
Mm-hmm.
They realize that they're trying to grow, right?
Yeah.
They have that growth mindset. They have that hustle, that heart.
Right.
They understand all the things it takes to be successful.
Yeah.
Which I know we're going to talk about that a little bit today. And it's great because I get to be with them and they really fill my cup, so
Yeah.
that's it.
I
But
love that.
if it's about some kind of business or some kind of initiative, I'm about it.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. Well, that leads into what we're going to talk about today. And before I get more into that, so getting to this business where you're in now, what really led you to that? Because that's a very, very broad business, but not really. That makes sense.
No, it is broad.
But what led you into the branding pieces?
It was totally by mistake.
Okay.
I'm the type of person that just blooms where I'm planted.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm graced enough to be on somebody's team,
Yeah.
then I just try to be my best self every day. And so that's all I've ever tried to do, and people have recognized that in me
Yeah.
and thought, hey, she could probably do that. Or she could probably do this, or they give me a responsibility when I'm really young, like 25.
Mm-hmm.
As a first marketing manager with Gannon Baker Basketball, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I just had that work ethic,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that it was my responsibility. And again, to be someone for someone meant so much to me. So it happened by accident, and then I got hired to do it by accident, and now I just do it in the way that I do it.
Yeah. I love that answer, shot. I just do it the way I do it.
I just do it the way I do it. I don't know, everybody's like, how do you do that? I'm like, really don't know.
Yeah.
A couple processes, proprietary business building courses and things like that, of course, I've put out. But as a whole, I like to work with people who are driven, gifted.
Yeah.
Maybe not talented, but gifted. I like talented people, but talent is a facade.
Yeah.
It's the gifting. That's the truth.
And that leads into our conversation today.
Nice little segue.
I love that. See, this is why she does what she does. She says, there we go. So today we're going to talk about talent versus work ethic.
Yeah.
And, I've been in the music business or entertainment business for over 20 years. I've done everything from concert management to artist management, to own the studio, to own the record label, to make, producing and things like that. And the one thing that I found with creators, and I don't want to say artists, but creators, is we find ourselves in a stalemate in conversation where some say, well, I'm super talented. I don't understand why I'm not where I want to be. And so my first question I pose to them is, what have you been doing? What's the work you've been putting in? And they'll say, I've been creating these things. Well, the creation of those things, that's a natural process for you. That's who you are. But the work I'm talking about is there's a bigger piece to presenting that product to the world for them to be able to see who you are and what you have. So I believe that it's 90% of work and 10% talent. And the reason I say that is because people who are talented and gifted I believe are naturally that way. If it's through childhood development and they became naturally that way, some people are just born naturally gifted with certain things. I mean, I think being 6'5" is a natural gift. Like, I can't work at that, right? Yeah. But there's other things I believe that you just have natural gifts to. So that's like the 10%. You're gonna do that regardless. Like waking up and walking, like that's kind of a natural thing we develop to do. But the work part of it is the hardest part for a lot of people because they first don't know where to start. Yeah. They just don't want to do it. They just want to be in the space to create, and they don't want to start it. And they believe people should just step in and help, and without seeing any other work being done. So my question I want to ask you: being in the space that you're in, do you ever run across that with creators, with that piece? And I can only imagine, even with business owners sometimes, believe they have an amazing product, but they don't understand why it's not selling. So in the space that you're in, have you run across that, and how that conversation happen?
Tons. I mean, I run across it every day with even my athletes. I run across it with my athletes, creatives, creators, musicians, artists, business owners. The first thing is we don't know what we don't know when we're new to something, right? So there is that. So I always give someone I'm getting ready to work with the benefit of the doubt. Maybe no one ever taught you the culture of working hard, because working hard is taught. Okay. Working hard is a culture decision. It's not it's not even anything that you can fake. It's in you or it's not. Okay. And if you weren't in that culture, if you weren't raised in a culture like that, if your teammates aren't cultured like that, then work for you is going to be a task instead of a necessary part of your process. I think John Maxwell said it best when he said that talent is never enough, but work isn't going to just cut it either. Like, you have to have good relationships. You have to be a man or woman of your word. You have to have character. You have to come and bring value to something before you ask for it. This is lost on so many creatives because they believe that they're the truth. And you are the truth. Let me first just say, you got all the juice and all the sauce, okay? Nobody's denying that. To be honestly truthful, like 100% of you isn't even fully discovered yet. You are an undiscovered marvel, okay? But you gotta do work to go find what that marvel is, right? People don't like to work with people who are lazy. Like, laziness brings poverty. Hard work brings prosperity. So when you look at someone like LeBron, 6'8", whatever, like, first of all, everybody says, well, he's supposed to be able to do that. Well, maybe. But I'm quite sure he worked on that reverse dunk. I'm quite sure that he honed that, crossover, behind the back, step back, head fake, drive away for a reverse, whatever. Okay, like, because you can't just do that, no matter how talented you are.
I know some tall guys that can't ball at all. They have 2 left feet, they're slow.
Stick to chess, right?
I mean, you just do whatever you're good at. Whatever is in video games, do that. But I mean, to your point, it's the hard work you gotta put in.
And you gotta have a plan. If you don't plan, you're just planning to fail. We've heard that before. A plan is something that you can check off objectives. A plan is something that comes to fruition.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I plan to go launch my business and then you don't even realize how you're gonna generate revenue. I think one thing that an artist needs to understand now is that you're not an artist first, you have to be a business first. You have to be a business first, because long gone are the days that a label has to own anything you do, right? Long gone are the days, like you can legitimately be your own business and put out your own stuff. So if you're an artist, you really need to tap into that. Maybe get a coach, somebody can help walk with you, just have you.
I think what happened and the stigma around the work versus the talent, because to your point, for a long time, the labels did the work. You just brought the talent. Now there's no artist development. So artists are just kind of, you're winging it at some things, but the internet's a beautiful thing. Because you can find out anything that you want.
YouTube University, right?
YouTube University, now they have AI, which is another.
That's a whole nother
podcast.
We could do that.
Oh my God, man. But there's tools you can use to be successful, and the younger people are finding those tools. And
that's talent.
That's talent, and they understand, hey, only thing I have to do is this, and this. Oh, I can do that, because you do it anyway. When I started in the business, we didn't have smartphones where you can load real quickly or interact with people. You physically had to go out and deal with people. So you was forced to work. You got some people that look at it and say, well, I can just do 2 posts a day and I'm good. Well, out of those 2 posts, how many people do you think actually interacted with it? Who saw it? Who's going to purchase out of that too? And where did you put it? Like, they don't understand that piece, and they get frustrated, and it just stops. And it looks lazy, but maybe they just don't know where to go and how to start that. So there you go. Steph is part of the person you reach out to. She'll get you on the right track.
Thank you for the plug.
We'll get all the content information and drop it.
We'll come back to it.
But I think that's kind of where what you can say is take the creators out of it. Business. There's some talented entrepreneurs in this world. However, I think they're getting their own way with the creation of the product and not looking at the full scope of branding, marketing,
so many things.
Finances, the back end. So if you get all those orders, say you start a t-shirt company and you have a great design, you have to know how to fulfill that order and things like that.
That's a great point.
Right.
The other thing that we need to know is that business is only a hobby unless you have a P&L. Like, if there's no P&L that you can print out in 10 minutes, you're pretty much wasting everyone's time in your camp.
Oh my God.
Like, you're pretty much.
Can you say that one more time?
If you don't have a P&L like that you can print out within minutes of someone asking for it, you're wasting everyone's time in your camp.
I think you just destroy half the people's business.
And I'm not trying to destroy it. Like, I'm gonna give it to you real. That's the only way I know how to do it. Like, I have been in situations where people have said, "What did you gross last year?" And I know for a fact, if I couldn't spit it out, the conversation was over. You're talking about people who actually buy and sell companies for a living. I think the second thing we have to understand as business owners and creatives, there is no new idea under the sun. Somebody came up with that idea. Somebody came up with a sound, an original view, an original perspective is, quite frankly, obsolete now. You can come up with a sound and then someone will spin that, emulate that. Sports, art is to be emulated. Music is to be emulated. Sport is to be emulated. It's like when you look at someone like Jordan and Kobe and that dynamic of Jordan legitimately laying out Kobe's playing career without even knowing. But you have Kobe, who's a player and a creator and an artist, by the way. God rest his soul. He emulated Jordan. We have artists that emulate other artists. They do. They don't know it. You don't know the influence that these artists have on you. So we can't be so sensitive with our work, and we can't be sensitive so much so that we can't take advice. we can't take criticism.
I learned very early on. I'm a creative. I'm an artist in different realms.
I'm a creative first. I didn't even realize I was until about 5 years ago.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's what I am. Great, thank God. Now it finally all makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But it's
But now you
business
know,
first.
but business, you have to go on that lane with business.
Yeah.
And for me, I started in business at the age of 16. So I started my first company at 16.
That's very cool.
And I had no idea what the hell I was doing. But my parents owned a business, and I worked inside the family business. So that kind of jump-started me into wanting to start my own. But it was because of my creativity. It was a clothing line. So I knew how I wanted to look, and I understood the work is going to have to go into it. I'm still in school. I still play sports, but I'm also coming home, putting in the time to create and learning and losing money. But I had to learn.
Lose money.
I had to learn, right?
But IRS has reasons for that. They're like, oh, you
Right.
can lose money in the first couple of years.
It kind of gives you a cushion, like,
They're like, give me a minute to get on your
lose.
feet.
Like, nobody wants to lose though. Like,
No.
but I was loving the losing piece only because I was learning a lot.
Sure.
I could take that now, many years later, and say, oh, don't do that, do this,
Yeah.
or this is what this should be. But the point I'm making is starting early and being able to fail is okay. But I understood being a creative, I had to take criticism on both sides between business and creativity because one, I don't know everything. To this day, I've been in business for a long time. I still don't know everything. So I stay real close to my friends that are in business and are very successful at what they do. And then that's why they don't have to be in the field that I'm in, but they can give me pointers. So to your point, stop being so sensitive.
The sensitivity is just killing you. Like, it really is. Like, I wish I had $1 for every time someone told me I wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe. Yeah.
I'm not bitter. It's okay.
Listen.
I'm just saying, like, if I had $1, like, I'd be triple millionaire at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your opinion. I appreciate that. What else can I work on?
Yeah.
Even the people that tell you you can't succeed aren't not valid. Like, they're still valid.
Yeah.
Especially if they're in your life, right?
Yeah.
If they're close to your life, you have to be open enough to hear that.
Yeah.
Whether that gives you fuel to continue or fuel to quit, right? That's on you.
I would say if you're one of those people, though, stay away from me.
I feel that. I feel that.
The thing is,
You just
because
laugh.
you couldn't do it and you failed it in your life, don't project it on me.
Please don't.
Like, I got things to do. And we're not talking about how you're going to help fix the things that you pointed out that was wrong. If you're not helping me figure it out, I need you to leave.
I'm with that.
And I've told people that, like, what are we talking about, man? If you're not giving me a solution to a problem that you see that I have, what are we doing? And to your point, yeah, you need to hear those things. I think negativity does fuel you.
For sure.
It
I
should.
don't know, for me it does, but
Yeah.
I'm a natural born underdog.
Mm.
So I'm born an underdog.
Yeah.
So that's in me. It's in my blood.
Mm.
Every room I go into, I already know that I'm the underdog. I know that I have to bring a special sauce. I have to separate myself from the pack. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I come in with that.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I almost need someone to tell me I can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah, go ahead, I can take it.
Like, let's go.
I'm like,
All right.
I'll tell you, like, go ahead and pick it apart for me. I'm cool with your dissecting what I have, so
Yeah.
I probably didn't see that, and I'm okay with that. But if you coming at me on some, oh, why do you think you can do that? So
Yeah, exactly.
So fun fact, I actually own Famous Radio. So Famous Radio is the first internet radio station in 757. We've been around for 14 years. And when I initially started Famous Radio, people told me that's not gonna work. They're like, what are you talking about? Nobody listens to the radio online. What are you talking about? And you had to initially call in and listen in to Famous Radio because that's how you listen in, right? You had a phone number you can call, we can talk, I could plug in. And it started off as a 30-minute show, and it ramped up. And by the height of Famous Radio, we had over 1.5 million listeners worldwide.
Oh,
And
that sounds good.
you're right, but let me tell you, some of the major radio stations, we're not going to call you out today, but really soon.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But y'all all doing internet radio right now. Y'all know who you are. I went to them and said, hey, I got this thing and I think it's something. And I didn't go to them early. I went to them when I had a significant amount of followers.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said, what are you doing? I'm just gonna do that. And I'm like, but I have listeners every day, every week. Like, this is an ongoing thing. Matter of fact, some of your listeners are coming over here because we have a sauce that they want. And I said, no. But once again, when I say who you are, but yeah, they call me when it started to like ramp up. Like when internet radio started, they called me.
That's good.
They said, Prince, can we?
Was it nice to get that call?
Yeah, I didn't take the meeting though.
Of course not.
I understand like.
It's like, I'm good.
Not good.
I got my own thing going now.
I got a good grip. You gotta catch up.
You said I think I got a good grip.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those times where you're like, I do consult.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
I
mean?
you get in.
I can only imagine what the workload was like to start that. Like,
it was heavy.
Yeah.
It was heavy. And people thought I was crazy. Even people in my camp, they're like, yo, Prince, I don't know. But it was out of necessity because I managed artists. It was the red tape to get them on.
Right.
You know, regular radio was really hard.
It's still hard.
It's still hard to this day. I don't know if it was really.
Well, the labels own the radio stations.
Right.
So when the labels own the radio stations, that's why we hear those artists just in rotation, constantly.
Yeah.
So like, but nowadays it's just to be an artist and to want to put out something of value. Everybody wants something more.
Mm.
What else do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many people have you met? Like, how many people have you met? Like, just think of it now. Like, just when we first got here, us three, right?
Yeah.
What else do you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I sing. What else?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a company. Well, what else?
What else that look like?
Like, what else do you do?
Why do we do that? Though?
Well, no, we do it because we're doing so much.
That's true.
You know? So, and that people are wanting so much out of the gate.
Yeah.
Think of the speed at which an artist can go from no one to someone in that fast.
Yeah. I mean,
How do you stay there?
well, you have to have something else. You got to be able to act.
That's the work,
Like,
right?
something.
It's the work ethic. It's the being able to implement like your entire plan, execution. I tell my artists and my creatives, listen, I love your marketing initiatives. Like I love the videos you're putting out. Love it. Like I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I love the social media content. You're doing a great job there. But like, are you making any money yet? Like,
Okay, can we say amen, because I had this exact conversation with a few people. I'm like, you look really busy. You look really, really busy.
Yeah.
And the numbers look really good. Where's the check though? And what are you selling? Because let's face it, we know how this game works, right? Streams, you don't really get a lot of money off of that unless you're getting a huge amount of push on the streams. But let me ask you, maybe because you're more versed in that in this than I am. When it comes to an artist, let's say artist alone, the product is not just the artist and not just the music. To your point, it's everything else. So having merch, having a place where they can go to interact with
you need a brand.
You need a brand, so go ahead and stuff up.
But your brand has to have initiatives to make money.
Exactly.
Like you cannot just be out here creating. And I mean, you can. Sure, like you can. But you have to finance your art at some point, right?
Yeah.
And most of our art is self-funded in the beginning, if not primarily.
Yeah.
Even for me, like if I wanna, sometimes I'll do motivational videos or I'll sing a little bit. Like even if I wanna do that, like I have to do that.
Yeah.
I have to put that out, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of gone are the days where you have producers. Like you have producers, but they're producing your tracks and then you're buying it somewhere from somewhere. You probably didn't even meet that person anymore. You know, so it's kind of like you have to be able to go, okay, this is my creative space. I feel good in this creative space. I love to create. I love to put my thoughts out there. I love this so much. It fills my cup. Great, good for you. But what initiatives are like bringing revenue into the stream? Revenue, like money to fund your initiatives. Where is that coming from? And there are so many ways to make money nowadays. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, and that to your point, you're absolutely right, because what artists and creators don't know, there's money that is allotted to you, but you have to have your business in order.
You gotta do what you gotta do until you're able to do what you're meant to do.
Right.
So if you're a new artist, you gotta sing in places you don't wanna sing. You gotta talk to people you don't wanna talk to. You gotta do the things that nobody else wants to do. You have to do those things. It's up early. You stay up late. It's hustle grind. It's leave shorty alone for a little while. It's focus on you. It's, it's all those things.
Now, do you think because of where we are with technology, with the internet, did that make people lazier though? Is that?
It's just they just don't understand what work is.
Okay.
Your work used to be a thing that you had to wait to see the results of it. Like, put it to you like this. Did you ever rake a yard?
Absolutely.
Do you know how many yards I've raked?
You mean leaves already? Yeah, for sure.
Like, that took time.
Mm-hmm.
That's work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Work shows up at the end of it all. Your work is not shown until the product is done. And you're like, oh, look, that was not the work.
Yeah.
Right? It takes time, and people don't want to do time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people would rather buy time than wait for anything. That's what I do. So it's like, work to other people seems too far off. Like, I tell my kids and my clients all the time, you have a dream, it's like a mountaintop.
Yeah.
The dream is the mountain.
Yeah.
You're in a valley right now. You gotta climb the mountain. And then you get up there, you might fall into the valley again. But it's work to get back to the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
And each climb is work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you're climbing, you're doing it, you're putting in that grind. As you get to the mountaintop, you're like, oh, I made it.
Yeah.
Great, now I can relax. No relaxing.
Is it weird that I like to be uncomfortable? Like, I intentionally make myself uncomfortable. I do things.
Well, that's where the growth is.
Yeah, I just, if it's too easy, I believe, and somebody told me that's my toxic trait. They said, Prince, like, you think it's too easy, you think something's wrong with it. I'm like, I'm not used to it just being this easy. They're like, well, it is. I'm like, no, it's not.
Okay,
like,
well, let's just be real. I mean, you're a black man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started in the game in last place.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so when we talk about black entrepreneurs, and 95% of the businesses that I've built were from black men and women. Okay? Don't know how that happened. Didn't mean for that to happen. So happy it happened, but I didn't go to search that. It was like my demographic found me. It's hard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna try to empathize. All I can say is that is difficult. And you need to know that you're starting a race in last place.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that, to your point, it's like an innate feeling of, I always had to run faster.
You're an underdog.
Yeah, I always had to run faster. I
You always
had
had to
be
move
smarter.
faster, go harder.
Yeah, and so,
100%.
and some people say, just relax, enjoy your spoils, celebrate. And I'm like, we won today. And it was like that even in sports when I'm playing, football. It's like, we won today, but we got to be like first thing in the morning back in the gym because they're going to come for our next. And that's just been the way I look at everything, especially in business. Like, oh no, they don't on our heels. We're doing a great job, but that means they're watching.
Well, it's your responsibility to get to your future self first.
I
It's
like
your
that.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, it's your responsibility to get there first and fast.
Yeah. I like that.
Kobe Bryant always said the biggest mistake we have is that we think we have time. And we don't. So I'm the type of person that, I want to be around workers. I like to be around hard workers. If you're not gonna work, I can't even talk to you. It's not even the same. We're not even the same person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, to your point, I think work has just been looked at as one of those things where, so you said something that was important. You say buying time. So people say, if I get somebody else to do it for me, I don't have to do it, right? But the work's got done. And
small thing.
that is true to a certain extent, right? Like, yes,
I don't mean things in your business. That's not what I mean at all.
Well, you're right, but
Because if it's close to your heart, like, I know you want to do it yourself, right?
That's why the toxic trait. Like, you don't walk in here and say, I can't believe you put all this together by yourself.
Right.
But my toxic trait is, if you're not gonna do it like me, don't touch it. Like, and that's just weird, but it's true to me. I'm like, listen, I really believe in what I'm doing, very passionate about it. If you don't show up, one thing you can always guarantee that I will be there.
Yeah.
If you don't come, I will be there. And that's part of that work ethic that I was instilled with. And but I understand that people feel like if I can pay for it, the work is done, right? I'm like, yeah, but what did you learn though?
Yeah.
You know, like, did you learn anything? What if that person's not there anymore? How did you build your value? Because I know if I walk in a room, the value I have with information is gonna supersede yours, plus I have your talent too. So who do you think they're gonna choose in this situation, me or you? And I don't think that some of the younger people understand that part of it. They say, look, I got the byproduct of the work. I hired somebody and did that, and some things you need to hire people for, right? So if I'm shooting a music video, I'm not gonna hold all this myself. That's not realistic, right?
Impossible.
If I'm gonna, record, I might can do it myself, but it's far easier to get someone else to do it.
Sure.
When it comes to your brand though, you should put your hands on it. You should hire Steph. However, have a plan for her to help you with, but have your hands on it. Because if you don't have your hands on it, then you don't understand the inner workings of it. And it's kind of like when you hear people say, my grandfather built this house with his bare hands. You know what that meant to his grandfather?
Yeah.
He knew which brick went where, what nail went to which wall, like he knew, right? You could hire somebody to do that, but it was a pride in that and some information you can pass down from one person to the other. So when you look at work, it's like that. What can you pass down?
It's culture.
It's culture. I love that.
I think legacy is in our art for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be. I stopped letting people come into my business a long time ago.
Mm.
Oh, I want to help you. No, you don't. Stop it. You think you do, but what you really want to do is be me.
Mm.
You don't really want to help me. You want to be me. Okay? And that was a long time ago when I wasn't comfortable being an eagle. But see, now I'm comfortable. I've been comfortable for a while, flying alone. And if you're going to be an entrepreneur or business owner, you've got to be comfortable with being alone.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be comfortable with flying alone, with working alone, with, being north of everything. Okay? I'm not to say that I would never hire a brand manager because there's so much value in that.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure they're a brand manager like myself that gives that creative space to the client.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not their visionary. I just manage it. And if you have a brand manager that comes to your space or if anyone comes to your space trying to tell you how to do you, exit.
But isn't that kind of tough? Because, I'm pretty sure you have tough conversations with them. Like, that sounds great. However,
A lot of tough conversations.
Yeah.
But that's where the big money is, in tough conversations.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So what you're saying is let them live out their vision, you help bring it to life, but also keep them realistic in it, right?
What you have to have is process.
Okay.
If you're going to be a brand manager or any kind of manager, you have to have process by which you allow that client to feel free and that they can trust you. So you have to lead them to the places that they feel comfortable to do that. So open discussion, questions, a lot of questions, interview style stuff. Like, how do you feel about this? Where are you with this? Hey, these are 4 options we have, pick one. You know what I mean? Here's 6 options instead of 2. Here's your artwork for your new EP. But here's it 5 different ways. Which one do we like? So that they have that creative space, right? But you're also making sure that you're on a time limit. You're like, listen, we gotta get this done by next week. So I hear you, but you need to flush that out. And if you have a good relationship with them, they'll trust you.
How do you manage dealing with a client that maybe want to do something for the brand that it may be a detriment to the brand for them? Like, just kind of observation from previous things that you dealt with. And you can say, I don't know in that direction you should go that way. And obviously people are very defensive. How do you deal with that?
A lot of questions more than statements. So I come at it from a standpoint of, is this in the direction that you want your brand to go?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a good reason, okay, how much is that going to generate? How much is it going to cost you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, no creative or business owner needs anyone to tell them anything. They just need someone to be able to bounce it off of. Okay? And they need someone with experience that can ask the right questions, right? That's big. Ask the right questions and then also support any decision they make. It's my job as a brand manager to support the decision of the client. But it's also my job to get him to the right decision, him or her.
I see what you did there.
It's coaching.
I see what you did. It's your decision, but I mean, like, if you understand.
It's your decision.
But
Here's the three you can pick from.
Right. I want to scoot this one closer to you. See, I understand that sometimes you gotta do that. I know, and with me managing artists, sometimes the conversations are because some just don't know, and so but they think they know. It's like they do though, like they know what their vision is, but then they don't understand what it's going to take to do that, and they may not be in that line to do it.
100%.
And then looking from the outside in, you have to give that take on, hey, this is how it's going to be perceived.
Sure.
Is that what you want? And they say yes. And so I've done that where I'm like, okay, I want to support that. It came back and it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. And I'm like, so, but they're upset with me. And I'm like, well, why? Because you didn't tell me. And I'm like, well, we did. We had a conversation.
Yeah.
I gave you my take on it. Another toxic trait of mine, I say toxic, but it's not toxic, is that because I care a lot. And I will challenge and say,
well, they need a challenge.
but the challenge is more so like, no, I'm not gonna let you do that. And I'm like, why? Because based off of my experience and the things that I've done and to help others with, we went down that route, it never ends well. So if you're gonna do that, I can't 100% support and be behind it. Because one, it's kind of like watching your child, someone do something and you're like, they're about to hurt themselves. I'm not gonna stand around and watch this. I can't do that because now I'm gonna get blamed for it because you're attached to that piece. Being a brand manager and then being an artist manager, you're as an artist manager, you're attached to that artist. So whatever decision that happens with that artist, they go,
where were you?
Prince let you do that?
Like, where were you in all of this?
So Prince let you do that? And then, well, Prince is not my daddy. I'm like, no, I'm not their dad. However, I did not advise that per se. But
I think for me, and you're 100% right. I think early on in my career, I probably definitely rubbed someone the wrong way, or maybe it didn't work out, or definitely, I feel you. The best clients I've ever worked with have gone through a discovery series with me that is really in depth. It's like 6 hours long. It's like to the core of everything you are as a person, what this brand is going to do for your life, what are the processes by which you're going to make money, like legitimately from executive summary all the way to marketing plan, and it's intense, right? And in that time, we carve out that brand with what I call a brand word bank. And every now and again, I will bring those brand word banks out to my clients who have been in business, and like I'll never forget, built the first Black-owned charity in Southeastern Virginia. It's a $1 million charity now.
wow.
And I remember like a year into it, I had to like bring him back around and be like, bro, come on, man. Sit down. This is where you started.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you said that, and I know this is where we are, but that doesn't align here.
Yeah.
So we're getting out of alignment here. So maybe that's just another business. You know, maybe that's just another initiative. Maybe that does not fit right here in this brand. You want to do that? I love it. You're creative. You like it? I love it. But maybe that's not for this brand. And that's when we talk brand extension. And that's when you start to marry entertainment company, with an artist, with a publisher in the same space. Wow. Hit him in the head. Okay, so like, you know, I never want to tell a creative, like unless it's a show where he's gonna, or she or she's gotta like get undressed and be naked, like obviously, like maybe you probably wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it's something that they can make money with, I just want to encourage them to carve out another space for that, carve out another lane.
And that's to my point is I always will support if it's making money. But still have morals to it, right? To your point, if you're out here just doing some really wild
like
stuff,
maybe not.
That's not sustainable. You don't even.
I mean, no shade on anyone that does that.
I mean,
like,
listen,
we all gotta live.
For me though, like I'm just like, hey, I will advise do this. But my piece is, if it's making money, great. We can make money on that. But if you're doing it just to feel good.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need those moments. We need to feel better about what we're doing, but we only can do that for so long before we have to start like raking some type of dividends. But if not, then we gotta do something different.
100%.
And I think for artists, everything that you do, it has to have a return on your investment. If you don't have that, it doesn't have to be money. It can be that helped me get visibility for this. That's gonna bring me money. If you're doing that, great job. If you're doing it just to get visibility and it has no return on it, the way the internet works now, it moves so fast that like is going to last maybe 8 hours.
That's not.
Probably less than
But you
that.
gotta remember why this was all created anyway. You know, why social media was created. Why you just, you know, we have to be smarter than the system, and we have to be smarter than the engine.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have to find different ways. Service and good service is never going to go out of style.
Right.
Personal touch, never going to go out of style. Being in someone's face is always going to be better than being on a camera.
Yeah.
You know, we have to be creative in ways that we've never had to be before. And we have to pivot just as fast. You know, and I tell everybody this, and I say this with confidence because I've done it. If you cannot pick up and move all your stuff to an entirely different state and start a company, you do not have the sauce.
Ooh.
And we really need to think about how to get that sauce.
Ooh. That's a hard lesson for some.
It's real.
We can go ahead and wrap this up. Some of y'all, I'm not joking, I'm joking.
It's real though.
But
It
that is
takes
real.
work to do that. It takes work to do that, and it takes a
honest.
plan. It's honest. It's for real.
And that's very honest. Because this should always be in you no matter where you go. You should have, that's the skill set we talked about. Like no matter,
If you have work ethic,
right,
it doesn't matter how good you are.
doesn't
It
matter.
really doesn't matter.
Doesn't
Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent.
Yeah.
You have plenty of educated derelicts out here.
Mm-hmm.
You got plenty of talented people who are just dumb with no work ethic. There's so much trash on the radio right now, I can't even start, right?
Yeah.
But the people that set themselves apart are the work ethic. You have to remember, 99% of the world is an underdog. There's only a few top dogs. There's more us than there are LeBrons.
Yeah.
Okay? There's more us than there are Alicia Keys. There's more us than there are Barack Obamas or whoever, Steve Nash. Like I could just go on and on, right? Top dogs, right? There's more of us striving to be that than there are those who are that. So the only way we separate from the crowd of talented, gifted, undiscovered marvels is by our work ethic, by our persistence, by our resilience. How fast, as a person, as an artist, as a business person, can you get from not okay to okay? How fast?
I love that.
And now we can make some money.
So let me ask, because you're right, but not everyone knows how to do that. Where would you advise someone to start? Because your point is there's more of us than it is them. And that means we're all racing the same race. And that means some of us is going to get left behind. But what would you advise those who want to do it? What should they do to get in line with that?
You know, I'm a big proponent of a plan and a strategy than I am a reactionary life. I'd rather have a plan that I'm working than just be subject to whatever comes my way. So first things first, if I'm starting a new initiative, there has to be a plan behind it. And that plan is complete with a goal that's measurable. Like I sound like some weird person that is smart, but it's just how I can say it over and over again. Smart goals, right? What are they? Something measurable, whatever.
I think that's small.
Okay, yeah, like it's the same concept, right? You have to have a goal. Like, what's the goal? Even if it's a money goal, and then you have to be working those goals. You can't be someone that's just wishing it could happen or willing it to happen. You can't pray it to happen. It's not all those things are great, but you can legitimately make a list and cross it off. Like, I know that sounds so simple, and a part of that is a schedule to make yourself work if you're not a worker. Like, if you're not a worker, if you're not like, I want to do this, like, you got to carve that time. It's the extra time in the gym. It's when no one's watching.
Yeah.
It's the 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It's Kobe at the court at 4 a.m. He's playing that night. You know, it's Dr. Dre in the studio when they were clowning outside the booth. I'm working here.
Yeah.
If you're an entrepreneur, you should also be able to know what it means to own your own time. Every single day, you wake up, you own every single minute of your day. And that's a lot of responsibility. The government made an entire system so that we don't have to do that. Because most of us can. So they made a whole system so that we could go to work and clock a clock and make a check because we're not grown and responsible enough to just get up and do it ourselves. See, I contest that we are.
Yeah.
And I also contest that an underdog and someone who's counted out is more prepared than anyone who's been given it to them. So the fact that we got people out here broke, poor, with gifts, it just blows my mind.
Oh.
God-given gifts. Multitude of gifts.
You are preaching right now.
And you own your own time. You own every single minute of your day. How can you not be happy? How can you not get up and work for yourself? You know?
Yeah.
So it's that plan, it's that striking things off the list. Like, this is my goal, I am relentless in this goal.
Yeah.
And it's a courage more than anything.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Because I think someone need to understand and hear that piece, because I'm just like you. I believe that we can do that. We should be self-governed. We should be able to be self-motivated. Some of us aren't equipped that way because just upbringing, right? I wasn't allowed to lay around in the bed all day.
Same.
So even as an adult, I physically get sick of going to bed longer than the average time. Even if I'm doing nothing that day, I'm off that day, I have nothing to do, my body automatically gets me up and get moving.
Yeah.
So it's going to the gym, start my day on other things, but some of them aren't raised like that because it just wasn't instilled in them. So culture. And you said that several times in this conversation. So my thing is I want someone to walk away saying, hey, I don't have a plan. I need one.
You need to admit you need one, for sure. That's like